get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Ha! Auntie Ann! Hello. It's Halloween time, and I'm making a Halloween dessert, pumpkin pie. Woo, this outfit is hot. Woo! That's my grandson laughing at me. I said, how do you cackle? He said, just like you laugh, Daddy. So here we go. I think I'm gonna take this hat off. It's making me sweat my ass off. So I'm gonna be making pumpkin pie, and right now I'm making the pie crust. This recipe makes 2 crusts, not 2 double crusts, 1 double crust or 2 bottoms. So I usually make it for 2. I make another bottom and I freeze it. Or if you're making a pie with a top and a bottom, this is a double recipe. So in this here is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I use unbleached. This is a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar. I use white vinegar, a tablespoon of white vinegar. It makes the crust a little crispier. So that goes in there. And I have water here with ice in it. Everything has to be really cold. So this is ice water. I have 1/2 cup of ice water. And what I have in the fridge here is 2 sticks of diced butter. I'm gonna put that in.
Sweet butter.
Unsalted butter, yes. I got comments from the peanut gallery. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is pulse this for a couple of seconds to get it blended. Put it on dough and pulse. And then I'm gonna pour in, that's not quite 1/2. Okay. Whoops, I missed that. 1/2 cup of ice water. And you're gonna pulse this for around 10-15 seconds. Take a look at this. They should be like crumbs, but when you squeeze them, they hold together. That's the way it should be. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'm going to take this off, and then I'm going to divide it in half, and put both pieces in the refrigerator to chill. You chill, before you can roll it out, you chill it for about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna take some plastic wrap here. And when you see the crumbs in the batter, it's really, you should see the crumbs like this. Put it together, and you see it stick together. So what I'm gonna do is take half of this. I'm gonna eyeball it. Should be about 12 ounces for each one. I'm gonna do is grab it like this, and then press it together. Press it together like that, and put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I'm gonna do this one too, and I'll be back. All right, so I'm gonna roll out the dough. If the dough is a little too dry, there's no problem with adding some cold water. I added a little cold water because it was a little dry. So, you see it breaks up. So you have to put it together. Make sure there's enough flour on the bottom so it doesn't stick. Now, it's perfectly fine if you don't want to make the crust. You can buy a pre-made crust. They have them. Pillsbury has them in the frozen section, so you could do that. And a tip when you're baking, never wear black. I had black flour all over me. I'll be back when I'm finished rolling out. Okay, so I have it rolled out. I'm gonna spray this pan. This is disposable, but you could use a glass pan, excuse me, if you don't have a disposable one. I'm gonna put some flour on here and we're gonna roll it up. This is where the flour comes in handy. Okay. You can move it over. Of course, it'll move very nicely. Okay, so we're gonna get a knife and cut around the edges. Leave some edge there because you're going to make the edging. You could take these little strips and roll them out and make little designs on the top of the pumpkin pie if you like. And as I said, you could, you know, buy a pre-made one in the frozen food department, but it's nothing like making your own crust. It's like the satisfaction of making the whole deal. All right, so what I do is I roll this under to get a little bit more of a thicker crust all around. And you know, it doesn't help if you have long nails because you can't work it with long nails. You've got to have short nails or just leave it plain. So I work it under, and then what I do, because some of my nails are long and some aren't, and the ones that I'm used to using are long, I'll show you what I use. Here we go. It's almost done. Here. So my nail is too long. So what I do is I take my two fingers like this and I take my thumb. I'm in my finger and I push it back. You could do it like this. Or you could do it with a fork around. But I don't like the look of the fork. So, here we go. Well, this one's not too good. All right. This nail is not too long. How'd you like that finger? Here we go. Now, that's pretty. And I take a fork and I put some holes in the bottom so it doesn't bubble up. Now, Like I said, you could make decorations if you want, but I don't want the video to be that long. I'll be back. I'm going to make the filling for it. I'm making the filling. Yes, 6 ounces or like 3/4 of a cup of cream cheese, to which I'm going to add the pumpkin, 1 15-ounce can. If you want to use fresh pumpkin, you're going to have to cook it first. I don't see the problem with using pumpkin in a can. I mean, I'm from the old school in a certain amount of things, but in other things, you just have to cut back. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm going to mix this together. I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon of cinnamon, and this is a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. We're going to get this all mixed up. Try to get the lumps out. And I have the cream cheese out for like 5 hours, and it still has little lumps. So you got to make sure you get all the lumps out. Mix this around. I'm going to stop it for a second here, and what I'm going to do is I have 3 eggs that are beaten here, and what I do is take the egg and line the bottom of the crust with it. This helps with not having a soggy crust on the bottom of the apple pie, pumpkin pie. So just put a little bit there. And now I'm going to add some vanilla. By the way, that's my homemade vanilla. I have a video on it. That's good. I have, since COVID, when the vanilla went through the roof, I started making my own. Never go back. So much better. Okay, put the 3 eggs in. Cream it up. Cream it up. Now I'm going to add a cup of heavy cream. You can't stay on a diet with this pie. Let me get all the sides off. Okay. I have my oven heating up at 425, first 15 minutes, and then you lower it. I'm trying to remember what you lower it to. I'll let you know. It'll be in the recipe. After 15 minutes, you lower it from 425. I think it's 375. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know for certain.
That's 355.
355. That's an odd number. I must have, let me tell you, all my recipes, I've tested them all out. This recipe, I changed it like 4 times. And this is the final version that I think is the best.
425 for 15 minutes, and then 355 for 40 minutes.
Okay, here we go. This is it. See how creamy it is? We're pouring it in. But first I have to get a tray because I don't put any pies in the oven without being on a tray in case of spillage. Here we go. The first recipe, there wasn't enough filling, it was too dry, then there was too much. I perfected it. It's just perfect. Look at that. Here we go. Now, 425 for 15 minutes, 355 for 40 minutes. Here we go. That's perfect. You check on it every now and then. I'll be back when it's ready. Okie doke, it's ready. Here we go. I had a little extra crust and I made a little star and stuff. My hat's falling off. I use this when the cake, the crust is getting too brown. So, excuse me. This hat is flopping all over. What are you gonna do? Yeah. Okay. How's that? Okay. Anyway, when it settles, it'll go down. The crust is nice. You got a moon and a star on there. I didn't have any pumpkins, so I cut out that with the extra dough. I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it. And until next time. Happy Halloween!